Semester at sea was one of the most adventurous and exciting 4 months of my life. I visited 11 different countries while living on a ship and earning 12 credit hours. I crossed the Atlantic, transited the Panama Canal, and met some of my closest friends. I flew to Germany to board the MV World Odyssey and embark on a journey of a lifetime. The first port was Greece, where I explored Athens and the Acropolis on a field class, adventured Santorini Island, got pooped on by a donkey, met a man in the hills who made wine for a living, relaxed on the black sand beaches, then felt at home antiquing through the city with a girl who had become one of my closest friends from the semester. Still glowing from the excitement and time in Greece, we went on to Italy. Being such a destination place, I tried to squeeze in as much as I could in the 5 days we had there. I went from Livorno to Rome, Rome to Naples, Naples to Sorrento, spent 2 hours in Positano, then went on to Florence. Then to Lucca, then Pisa, where we posed like tourists with the Leaning Tower, and then finally went back to the ship in Civitavecchia. Our bellies were full of pizza, pasta, and Italian wine as we boarded the ship and headed to Spain. We ported in Barcelona, so there was much less travel, allowing me to stay on the ship instead of a different hostel each night. While in Spain, I went up to the Tibidabo, ate many tapas around the city, shopped and explored, visited the exquisite and mesmerizing Montserrat Monastery, roamed an ancient castle, went horseback riding through the hills, visited Gaudi's La Sagrada Familia and Park Güell, and took many, many pictures. Then we boarded the MV World Odyssey once more and were off to Morocco. The exhaustion was catching up to me, and I spent 2 days in the port city of Casablanca. Roaming the extensive markets, I then went on to an overnight program to the capital city of Fez and saw some amazing medinas, the Roman ruins of Volubilis, and some factories with pottery, weaving, and leather dyeing. Senegal was the most unique and foreign of the ports. We were more aware of our surroundings, but that helped us pick up on the beauty and the culture. I went to Goree Island on the local ferry and wandered the beautiful tiny wonder, seeing paintings lined along the paths. The artwork was incredible, and I ended up buying 4 paintings and 2 sand art pieces. The last day, I went on a safari and got to ride around in search of the different animals, getting some lucky close-ups with a tower of giraffes. Next, we went on to Brazil, one of my favorites of the trip. I flew to Rio with some friends and wandered the crowded beaches, getting some great sunset views. We took a cable car up to Sugarloaf Mountain and then saw the Christ Redeemer statue in the same day, with the wind blowing our hair and skirts around like crazy. The views from the top were incredible. We then went on to Iguazu and visited the wondrous giant Iguazu Falls. I don't think I've ever felt so much pure joy than when I was standing on a platform under a roaring waterfall, getting soaking wet without a care in the world. It was so peaceful yet wild and clamorous. I for sure want to relive those 2 short days we had in Iguazu. The next port was probably considered my low point. I had gotten sick and wasn't fully recovered when we arrived in Trinidad, and with only 2 days in port, I was not able to fully experience the tiny country. I was, however, able to go to Carnival Fete, a local music group production exclusively for Semester at Sea, and that was a fun night of Trinidad culture. After Trinidad, we had a cookout on the deck as we passed through the Panama Canal. It took almost 8 hours, but it was really interesting to see the ship go through the different locks and watch the water levels rise and fall. Peru was the port I had the least expectations for and the most nerves about, which ended up making it one of the best. As an inexperienced hiker, I had signed up for 3 full days of hiking. After only a day to get acquainted to the altitude, we pushed through our first hike, 7 hours through the mountains to Machu Picchu. It was the most strenuous thing I have ever done, but it was so rewarding when we turned the last corner and had the full view of the ancient city before us. The next day, we got to go back and explore the inside of Machu Picchu before heading back to Cusco. Then the next morning, we had a lovely Peruvian breakfast before hiking to the Rainbow Mountains. I chose to ride on horseback half of the hike and was thankful as I was able to look around at the views instead of where I was placing my feet. We got some amazing pictures of our adventures and then lugged all of our shopping back to the ship. The next port was Ecuador, known for their chocolate and coffee. The first day I explored a cocoa plantation and got to see how a cocoa bean goes from the farm to the chocolate wrapper. I went to Baños, Ecuador for 2 nights, the adventure city on the edge of the rainforest. It was a very relaxing trip and a quaint little city. I swung at the edge of the world and felt like a child again, not wanting to stop. We saw some more incredible waterfalls and got to just wander the city, meeting many dogs and seeing lots of bizarre trash cans. The last port was Costa Rica, one of the least busy as I was exhausted from 4 months of travel, homesick and missing the holidays, and had pretty much run out of money. The first day I went ziplining and had a blast. Then the next 2 days, my friend Christina and I went into the city and relaxed at a hotel before boarding the ship and heading home to San Diego. Arriving back in the US 3 days before Christmas, I was eager to see my family, but I also sad to end this incredible adventure and say goodbye to my friends. I went exploring one last time with my roommate Simran before I headed home and began to adjust back to life in the US. Although the adjustment is going well, there are times when I miss certain things about the different cultures I visited and long to be back on the road. I will never forget the time I had to explore the world, and I hope that this was just the beginning of my travels.